the onslaught of state laws targeting transgender Americans and their families. It's simply wrong. I said last year, especially to our younger transgender Americans, I'll always have your back as your president so you can be yourself and reach your God-given potential.
Powerful. That was the president last night standing up for the rights of transgender Americans. Speaking of which, there's a controversial new push in Texas to investigate parents of trans kids. Specifically, they're saying that puberty-blocking drugs or other gender-affirming medical treatments may be illegal and could be considered child abuse. At least one family is suing the state over it. DBL Nation, we got to hear from you, of course. How do you feel about what's going on in Texas? Do you support it? Do you not? Go to dblvote.com to weigh in. I'm just going to throw out a tweet, and then I want to hear you respond to that, Tori.
Okay.
This is coming from Emily in regard to the pro-trans directive. Emily on Twitter writes us and says, it makes no sense to have a 6-year-old making life-altering decisions about their body. This law would protect minors from making a mistake that could change their life permanently.
And I want to say very clearly, I understand that that's nerve-wracking when it comes to medical things and kids before puberty. I hear that. But I also want to say that if you're a true conservative, you want government out of your business. And for someone to be conservative to say, now we're going to punish and enforce this on your parents is incredibly hypocritical, not only that, very traumatizing. If you think it's traumatizing to tell a kid that when they're trans, think about outing their parents, like this mother who is then put on administrative leave from the government. How much more abusive and traumatizing is that? This to me is a simple dog whistle. I'm trying to lead the base, I'm trying to hang red meat, and I'm trying to get elected again. That is what this is. It's constitutionally unsound. It's not even a bill, it's a directive. This will not hold up. Those children have rights too. That's all I'll say.
I like how people just like to redefine child abuse. Like, people just like to just make up their own definition for anything. Child abuse, if anyone who would throw this out here, has a lot more to do with the neglect of a child, the actual abuse of not listening to them, not caring for them. There are a lot of abused and neglected children out there, and if you are so concerned about them, there are many ways that you can get your butt on the streets and help. When you have a parent who is listening to their child, trying to find the proper resources, both physically and mentally, that is called a parent who is in tune with being a parent and loving their child. That is not to be conflated with child abuse. And I find it really interesting because anybody who would throw that word out there, that it's abusive for a parent to listen to their child and help them, I would really have to understand where they're coming from if they actually know anything about what child abuse is.
And I really wish that people leaned on the science yet again, right? There's doctors out there that have been studying this for decades, and they've actually found that it saves those children. It saves them. Our children know who they are by 4 years old, right? I tell Sophie, who do you have a crush on in your classroom? Is it a girl or a boy? Because I want to be able to her to not feel like that there's some sort of judgment or stigma societally to make her go into one box or the other. So I leave it open to her. She likes a boy right now, you know, so I feel like, okay, Sophie's heterosexual. If Sophie at a very young age, and I know someone, one of my best friends who actually leaned quite conservative, had a little girl who from a very young age wanted to dress like a boy, kept saying, I'm a boy, I'm a boy, I'm a boy. By the age 7, they said, okay, our child, I'm not going to say the name, is a boy. Let's look into hormones, things like that, to make sure that they're gender affirming or reaffirming I don't even know what it's called, but methodology with that doctor is the best thing for them, because there's science and data that shows if you get in there young, you can actually save their life. Because the older they get, the more stigma, it's harder to go through all those gender reaffirming surgeries, or even if it's just hormones or whatever it may be. So if you want to save your child's life, why don't we trust the science? Why does it always have to be political? Why?
Because it's a governor's race this year.
On the backs of children and their families?
Yes. Sorry, in my opinion.
All right, final vote. Let's see. So it looks like 79% of our viewers do not support it.